And they asked half the sample, they randomly asked half the sample the question by proceeding by saying, then President Clinton wanted to repeal it, and the other half by saying the Republicans in Congress wanted to repeal it. And they got completely different results as to whether it should be repealed, but of course it didn't exist in the first place. So if you do polling on complicated public policy issues, if you take rational ignorance and combine it with the problem of phantom opinions, you may just get noise or the vaguest impressions of some public policy issue. And we don't want to base public policy decisions, or we don't want to base inputs for important development decisions on noise. We want the considered judgments of the public, which is why I think we want to find a method where we can get what the public would think about an issue if it were thinking about the issue. We don't want our answer to what should be done if we're consulting the public. We want the public's answer. But normally the public is not engaged in thinking about an issue. And if they are engaged, there's a third problem. That is, if for those issues that people do discuss public policy or politics, they tend to talk to people like themselves, which is very natural. Your friends, your family, people in similar social locations, those are the people you talk to. Well, if they have similar social locations, they're very likely to have the same influences, the same interests, and very similar kinds of opinions. So when do you hear the other side? When do you hear the different perspectives in the population about it? Now, you might say you hear it on the internet or in the press, but one of the interesting problems is that as our choices have increased, so that we can go exactly to the websites that we agree with or that offer us comforting points of view, and we can avoid the people we disagree with and the viewpoints we disagree with, that we get more of the same. And ironically, the very freedom that we have that is enhanced by the choice we have with technology makes it harder to get public opinion that actually has come to grips with the different points of view. And on most public policy issues, there are different points of view. I mean, anything where there are hard choices, there are different interests, and there are other perspectives. Now, of course, sometimes there's also misinformation. There's what I would call the persuasion industry on issues where people are trying to mobilize opinion. But nevertheless, there are often legitimate arguments for different public policies, and most people will not be exposed to them because they will not exercise their freedom to listen to those they disagree with, either on the internet or in interpersonal choice. So, if you think that actually testing your opinions against the viewpoints of other people, people from other class backgrounds, other ethnic groups, other perspectives, if you think that that is part of the test of seeing whether your opinions really survive the initial view that you have, then we need to see how to do that. So, I'm going to spend just a little bit more time on other approaches and then go to deliberative polling. But for any approach about consulting the public, you have to raise two questions: who and what. That is, who is consulted, how are they selected, or do they select themselves, and what. What is the kind of opinion that you're getting? Is it a top-of-the-head impression of sound bites and headlines, or is it something where people have somehow or in some way been encouraged to think about the issue? And the premise of my approach is that as a serious input into public policy, we want to go to the effort to to get people to think about the issue.